Hey everyone, how's it going there?
Did I scare you? I tried to scare him. It didn't work.
No, not yet. I can do it this way. Don't scare them.
Oh, don't do that. Don't scare him like that. Come on now. That's cruel and unusual punishment to your viewers.
No, cruel and unusual punishment if I was to walk in wearing a bathing suit. Yeah, I'll be blinded by the light, the glare, and I'd have the Hague coming after me for war crimes.
So you got Heastead in here.
Yeah.
We've also got Cecilia.
Hey, Cecilia.
And then there's Michael.
Yep.
Then you and me.
Yep. And all right. Well, we got 5 watching and 6 thumbs up.
That's an unusual ratio, but hey, we'll take it.
Which means somebody now we got 6. Sometimes I've noticed the thumbs up turn quicker than the people coming in for some reason, but yeah. So folks, I'll give them a few minutes here. Everybody say hi and everything. We get a few more in it before we jump right in here, because I don't want anybody to miss out on what's going to happen, because we got a lot of great information. And if you saw by the picture here, we're talking about what happens when something happens, a storm, an earthquake, tornado, hurricane, whatever, and you lose your power. You lose, if you're on natural gas, the gas lines are disrupted. If you got a big propane tank outside, it's fallen over or floated away down the road, whatever, and all your firewood's soaking wet. So that was outside. How are you going to cook? And so we got a lot of ideas here.
You got a question already.
And the question is,
I'm not voicing my opinion because it may hurt somebody else's.
Do you have an opinion on repurposing the American flag? Well, according to the federal code, when an American flag is no longer serviceable, it is to be retired in a respectful manner deemed forth by code as far as who can do it, which is the military, the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the Boy Scouts of America are the only organizations allowed to retire a flag. Repurposing it as cutting it up and using it for rags or whatever, hell no. Pardon my French.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. If your flag isn't worth flying no more, send it to me. I'll take care of it. I'll make sure it's dealt with appropriately and in a proper manner. I can't stand watching people burn flags, stomp on them, as I want to go stomp on their noses.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Jerry, Cecilia, I got mine off of eBay.
Hey, Christy Betts.
Oh, True Grit, thanks for joining. Yo, you have a new subscriber.
Cool.
Yay! Give me claps.
Or if you mean like some people used to take the smaller flags, and I saw someone try, sew several of them together to make a like a shade awning. No, that's disrespectful too.
Yep.
So what did you mean? He said, "What did you mean?" So we don't jump on down your throat, and that way we can apologize if it's not disrespectful.
No, he says no, he didn't mean anything like that.
Yeah.
So my personal opinion, if I have a flag and it's outside flying every day like it's supposed to be, taken down at night the way it's supposed to be, and it gets ripped because of high winds or something, because I was too foolish to take it down when I should have, I will fold it neatly in a triangle pattern. It'll get put into an airtight bag and stored in a closet. It will never leave my possession. Unfortunately, I no longer have my father's flag from his burial. That was stolen by ex-landlord of my mom's. But to me, flags should never be burnt, buried, or otherwise destroyed. It should be folded in the triangle pattern and stored. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah. We have a lot of people that have fought and died for that flag, and they need to be respected.
Yeah, the VFW, American Legion, and the military themselves, when they have a flag retiring ceremony, it is a very solemn, respectful ceremony. If they have the history of the flag, they'll tell about the history of that flag, and they will have a huge bonfire, and they will respectfully place it in the fire, not on the ground, in the fire, so that it can, as the saying is, the ashes can go to heaven. Our cabin in the woods. Hey, how you going?
Okay, she posted down there. They wanted to hang one as a headliner in a vehicle or in the house. Because if it's in the house, I don't see an issue with it. In the vehicle, it's kind of iffy because
Yeah,
a lot of wind could cause it to come loose. You'd actually have to use a quick drying epoxy glue to put it in place so it didn't come loose.
and then heads bumping against it are going to leave oil on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in a vehicle. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. If now the thing is, if you contact your local Boy Scout troop that does the flag retiring and ask to be there when they do it, it's really.
She said in her note she didn't want to destroy it.
I know if you don't want to destroy it, but it's they do treat it very respectfully, and they do it in the proper manner. In the cab, in their truck.
Yep. So it'd be up on the roof.
Yeah. You want to get a better opinion, go check with your local American Legion or VFW. Get the words from those that who are charged with taking care of the flag and stuff.
Understood.
Yeah. Understood. Yep. You don't want to do anything wrong, but you want to do something special with it. Yeah. Now, sometimes when flags are damaged, like if it gets a small tear in it, it is perfectly acceptable and encouraged to mend it if it's mendable and continue to use it.
Oh, full armor.
Hey, okay, so we are about 8 minutes in.
And he said, we're only awesome because you guys are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are so often giving us good side chat and talking to us and helping us do stuff.
If it wasn't for you guys, neither one of us would be up here.
Yeah. Or we'd be very lonely and we'd be going, where is everybody? And we'd be listening to the crickets.
Or we'd be at a bar doing karaoke, having people throw pickled eggs at us.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's another thing. If the way my voice has changed and gone downhill, if I try singing, every country in the world will be after me, thinking that I've come out with a new sonic weapon for mass destruction.
Yay, Gil! You're only one away from 800.
Yeah, I know, and I'm getting close. Also, I'm 4 days away from having the giveaway, counting up the numbers for the giveaway on the Watch Hour contest, which is still going on. And if anybody doesn't know what the Watch Hour contest is, in the description down below, I have the links to the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, the grand prize, and the should have the Watch Hour contest down in there too. Let me make sure on that here. Yeah, the Watch Hour contest is in there as well. And so basically it says whoever watches the most videos of my videos and comments on each one, because that's how I track it, by how many videos have a comment on them. I got a spreadsheet and it's tracking it up. And right now, just everybody, give everybody the thing on it. Right now, the leader is the evil twin, has watched 94, and he'll blow all the rest of them out before Friday.
He don't count.
Oh, I don't count. I mean, he don't count. Darn.
Not unless, of course, he's piggybacking for me, then, or quarterbacking, however you want to put it.
Yeah. So,
but, yeah. Pennsylvania Pepper and Mouse Toes. Hello, welcome.
Hey guys. Yeah. So that's
I'm doing a shout out here. I'm going to step on your toes. Hey, if y'all haven't checked out Mouse Toes yet, run over to her channel and click on a video worth 20 and watch, because she is awesome when it comes to canning.
And
it says if she can do it, you can do it. Ain't nothing but a thing. Go check her out.
And if you watch some of the videos where she's actually cooking and stuff, make sure you have plenty of napkins with you for your drool, because otherwise you're going to be drooling all the time. Yeah. So, alrighty. So let's get into the main gist of the topic tonight. So, as it said in the description, it's been some sort of emergency going on, earthquake, flood, tornado, whatever. You've lost electricity. If you have natural gas, the line is broken. If you have the big propane tank outside, it's gone. If you had a stack of firewood, it all got soaked. And how are you going to cook? So we got a few suggestions here. So let me get over here.
2 sticks and a rubber band. Will that work?
Possibly.
Cool. I can eat then.
Let's go down here. All right. So you can see we got several ideas here. Let's get into it. Propane. Now I said your propane tank's gone, but I'm not talking about the big one. I'm talking about those little propane ones you have there. Like this one, the little camping ones. Hey, how many people have camping propane stoves? Yeah. Sometimes you got to whip those suckers out if there's been an emergency or something. And they come in all sorts of neat styles. If you look at the back corner here, you'll see the regulator. So the bottle is in the back. Or you can hook it up to a big tank, one of the barbecue grill type ones. That was something I forgot to put in here, was a propane barbecue grill.
Oh.
But you got these little cute ones here are meant to be used indoors. They have a fuel cartridge that goes in this section here. They're all over the place for these different types. I got one of those as well. And then of course there's the big ones outside. I got a couple of Camp Chef ones. I got a 2-burner and a 3-burner. And then there's your little ones that run on the propane. And then your of course your base for your turkey fryers and stuff. All things you can cook on. And of course your standard Coleman propane stoves. And a whole bunch of the other little backpacking stoves and stuff you can use to cook with, heat water, whatever you need to do. And of course, the most famous little type, stand on the green jar there.
Hey, Mama Z.
All right, this is one that's used for in the outpacking tents and stuff, the big tents and stuff. So you heat those up with snow, where you have to have one that has a special vent in the material for it. So before we go on to wood, any comment? How many of you have any of those type stoves?
I have 0.
True Grit says those work great. He's cooked on many a steak while camping. Good. Mouse Toes loves the dual one. She has that. The canning stove with Pennsylvania Prepper. You mean let's just go back to it. I think I know which one. This one here. You can use this one for canning. Usually it has a big turkey fryer on it. But if you're doing frying big thing of oil, you can also can on it too. Okay. Mouse Toes has the dual Camp Chef Explorer. The little camper stove. The stand-up one. Good. Have a G stove. 0 stoves. All right, we got to get Christy some sort of stove. Okay, mini backpack one, yeah.
Christy, you can actually make a wood burning stove out of a 10-pound can.
Yeah, and we'll cover some of that at the end about making some of these. But actually, showing this kind of one right here on the left here, the little burner for it, you can find those on Amazon if you the backpacking stoves, they're down as low as $7 most of the time, and every now and then they'll drop down to like $4.75 for them. And that's, I used to buy those when they dropped to $4.75. I'd buy a bunch and give them to my scouts when they made first class.
Yeah, it's probably the cheapest way to get a propane stove going.
Yeah, this is probably the next cheapest way. Head to Walmart, get the Coleman stand up. It's $19, and you put it on the propane, and you can put a skillet on there. You can put pots of water and stuff. All right, wood burning. Let's get in some wood burning stoves. Now, but if the wood's all wet, well, you can probably find some dry sticks and stuff. Or if the wood's all wet on these wood burning stoves, you can actually use your charcoal briquettes, which are usually kept in the garage where it's nice and dry. And they got that type there. This type here takes little twigs and stuff and actually does a fairly good job. I have one of these. I don't have one of these yet, but this is a commercial version of the rocket stove. And it you can, we put the wood in. You can also drop some briquettes in there and get a good flame mixing twigs and briquettes in there, and it does work. Hey, gunslinger, how's it going? Now, one of the neat thing about this is they also have this little attachment here that just sits right on top of it, so the heat comes up, goes across, and heats both these areas up, and then goes out the flue here. So you get double the cooking surface on this type one. Really cool. And then this is just an Outfitter's folding. It folds up and collapses really flat stove, so it contains it, and you just put your cast iron skillet on it to cook. All right, so there's a lot of really neat stoves out here, wood burning stoves. Now here you're going high tech on this stove. This is this stove here works sort of like a rocket stove, and you feed the wood into it from the other side. But this little device has a piece of tubing that protrudes into the flame and heats up, and it produces electricity. So you can charge your phone or your GPS unit or your USB charging flashlight or anything like that. So while you're cooking, you can also charge up some equipment. And this is another version of it. This is a rocket stove version of it where it has the rod. The rod, you can't see, the rod goes on the inside, and they charge up.
I have one I can show. I brought props.
Okay, let me put that up here right here. Okay, Pennsylvania said Walmart had a hybrid gas and charcoal on clearance from, oh, dang. I'm gonna have to go to Walmart tomorrow. See if our Walmart still has it. Hybrid gas charcoal from down to $75. Woohoo! You're right, Gunslinger. If you have camp stoves, any of them will work, and we're just showing all the different varieties and ways you can do it. You had something to show, Dave?
Yeah.
Do you want solo screen or just back to normal?
Why not? Well, let's just hear them and give them all PTSD.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Christy, this is your standard 10-pound can. There are videos on YouTube that show you how to modify this. And I got to fix it because it's falling to pieces, but ouch. Uh-oh, now I'm stuck. There we go. But a regular coffee can, whoops, get back in the camera. Regular coffee can, the metal ones, you can turn it into a stove. And this right here will burn everything into ash with the way it's designed, with the way the holes are. It'll build a cyclonic action in it. I've actually got a video somewhere in one of my playlists on this right here that I made. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
There's a lot of videos on those. It's also called a hobo stove.
Yep.
And let's go back to this. All right. So yeah, some of these they have really high tech. They actually I saw somewhere they had just a device that you could stick into another fire or something. Then the next type, so this here's another one. This is a little more heavier duty one for out barbecuing and stuff. And you can put wood, or you can use the charcoal briquettes in it or whatever. But also cool, it has a little water tank on the side to heat up. So you cook on the top. Got a little screen tray there that you can put stuff on while you're working, and it's got the hot water for you.
HVH, hello.
And they have bigger versions of this. So this is a little small one. I think that's like a 2-inch or a 3-inch flue off the back.
It's a 2-inch or
2
2 and
inch.
3/4 inch. I mean, yeah, I've got a similar tent stove myself. Mine is round though. Mine is the army style. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford the fancy one with the water tank on it.
Yeah.
So I got a video on that somewhere too.
I've seen the round ones where what they've done is they on the round where it's got the top cut flat to cook on. Well, on the bottom third of it, they welded a steel plate in the bottom that the coals sit on, and they turned the space beneath that into a water tank too. I've seen those.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Hey, CR.
And then, of course, if you saw my video on it on how to make an emergency stove, you're just using the charcoal starter, whatever it's called. Going brain dead here. And I go on how you can turn that into a stove. And basically, I was on my video, I filled this pan up full of piled it high with snow, put it on there, and in a couple minutes, I had boiling water. So this works really good too. I mean, you get a good action up there, and it really heats up high. So, oh, and the link for this is down in the description below too. All right. Sterno, believe it or not, those little cans that you see at the buffets to keep the food warm.
Yes, they actually drinking.
Yeah, not the drinking Sterno. Of course, if you use that as a fuel in one of these future ones here, you'd still get a nice hot fire.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking Sterno kits. They got several different styles. The Sterno container will go down in here, and the way it's set up, it helps feed the flame. This is an old, you can find this at Walmart and Big Five Sporting Goods, or just about any type of sporting goods that has camping equipment. They'll have this type or a similar one we'll show at the end here.
And just so you guys know, most dollar stores, the Dollar Tree, where everything's supposed to be $1, most of them actually have cans of Sterno. Now, they're probably not the greatest quality of Sterno, but you can get 3 of those for what you pay for 1 at Walmart. So that's an option to consider for storage.
Yep. And this is one that has a 2-burner for the Sterno. They have these up, and this folds out. This unlocks here at the sides. You can see the hinges across the back, and it folds flat. And Sterno has made their equivalent of a jet boil using their Sterno can. And this upper cup has the fins on it, so it gets the maximum amount of heat transfer to boil the water quickly with this.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
And Hidden Valley, we already went through those. You missed it. Hey, Broussard.
All right, Scott, that's that one's coming up at the end. And I know you have that. I was hoping you get in here to see it at the end. Hey, Brett. All right, so here's another type of Sterno. Or they also have these cans that you just pop them open and use them all at once. But I like the Sterno cans because you can seal them up as soon as you're done. But this also folds up small and fits into a backpack. Now, for us old schoolers, we have white gas.
That's racist.
Well, I can't find the black gas, the brown gas, the yellow gas. I can find green gas, though, and purple gas.
Just go look at the closest baby's diaper. You find all the green gas you need.
Problem is, it's so toxic you wouldn't be able to eat the food.
True.
Okay, so white gas stoves, where they have the little tank here at the bottom. You fill it up, you pump it up, and it heats up.
No, we have not, Broussard.
What do you ask?
Yes, have we already covered homemade rocket stoves?
No. Homemade stuff we're going to do at the very end. So if you got knowledge on it, stick around and help us out here, because in about half an hour or less, we're going to be at that point where we talk about making all the stuff we see here homemade. And so the white gas stove here, fill it up here. Now I'm going to deviate right here for a second. You can find at several places, several sporting good places, and on Amazon, this little valve section here where the tube goes through and plugs in here. They have a replacement tube that goes in there and a spring lock on it, so you can screw on your green propane tank to it and turn your white gas old Coleman stove into a modern propane tank stove. Yeah. And they even may have the little stoves that go on them for it. And, I got different models. You got your 2 burner. Actually, it doesn't show the 1 burner here. They have a 1 burner. They got 2 burners. They got 3 burner stoves. I got all of these out here in my cargo container.
Hey, Dutch.
Yeah. Now, alcohol stoves. Now, some of you are going to say this is sacrilegious.
Shame on you.
But we're talking rubbing alcohol, not drinking alcohol. But you could, if you had like Everclear or something like that, you could use that to power these alcohol stoves.
So say, because after the weekend I've had, I could really use a nice strong fluid mudslide or something,
Yeah. So your alcohol stoves. Go one of the simple backpacking ones here. Found this. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I just said hello to Imaginator.
Hey, Dave, how's it going out there? Dave, meet Dave. Dave, meet Dave.
See, I'm catching all the people coming in as you ramble on, so at least they're,
Yeah. So, I found this one out here. This one, this one's really cool. Basically, it's a gravity feed alcohol one with its control knob. And so this I think was really cool when I spotted this one here.
No, Kathy, I don't.
And so just a close-up look at the alcohol burner with the sealer lid on it. You don't want to use the sealer lid to extinguish it. They have another type lid to use it to extinguish it. And here's an old school one that you use for alcohol. And then a couple other old school alcohol burner ones. Now this one on the left here, I will say that I should have had this picture later on as well before we get into another one, but this can be used for more than just alcohol. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Here's another fancy alcohol one. It also can be used for more than just alcohol, the way it works. And your spirit cup is where you can pour a little alcohol in there, get it going, heat everything up so when you turn it on, it actually starts vaporizing quickly and burns cleanly and efficiently.
Gunslinger brings up a valid point. You can use hand sanitizer in alcohol stoves.
You can also use the hand sanitizer in the sterno stoves as well, because that's basically kind of what sterno is. It's a gelled alcohol. All right, so using the sun. Yes, there is a type of stove out there called a sun oven. Really cool. And I have one of these.
Cheater.
And it gets really hot. But you got to, the drawback to this is you got to keep an eye on it, because as the sun moves, you have to adjust it.
That's when you just take a few RC components and you make a optical sensor and you use it to aim it at the sun, and it follows the sun for you. Real easy to do.
Yep. And so there's another version of a sun one. And then, hey, there's homemade ones here that people make with the polished mirrors and stuff to heat up and cook in.
See, that's something like what Mouse Toes would have, that last one there. She'd have something like that one down there.
This one?
Oh, yeah. She gets plenty of sun down there as long as it's not raining.
Yeah. And you see that people use the insulation material with the foil on it to reflect back at the pot. And then they may have bigger ones that are trailer mounted. All sorts of different ones. And even bigger ones that are trailer mounted. These would be like for a community, a survival group, a MAG, something like that would go together and get something like this.
Or a homesteader meetup.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, all sorts of different ones. and a couple more of the homemade ones here. Now the internal surface on this is all painted black, and then they put some mirrors in there to try to reflect it at the right angle to get the sun aimed at the items in there. And then here comes the most dangerous one for sun-wise, though. This is a giant Fresnel lens.
Fresnel.
And you can see the focal point. They don't have it down to a size of a dime. They try to focus it for the size of the whole pan to heat it evenly. But yeah, you can get that really hot. If you have like an aluminum pan in there, you can melt that aluminum pan.
Yeah, see that would be me. I would set it, walk away to go get the spices, come back, and I'd have a molten puddle of aluminum.
Cool, CR. Yeah, my neighbor across the street, Curtis, he goes to the junkyard out here, and they set aside all the old TVs and stuff, and he goes around to all the rear projection TVs, those old things, and he pulls the Fresnel lens out of them.
I would like to do that because that way I could actually if I could get my hands on one of those, I could actually do something that would give the less than privileged youth in my complex here something to do during the summer months. We could go out and do all kinds of fun experiments with it. Keep the kids from breaking into stuff and stealing stuff and all that stuff.
Keep them busy otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, guys, hang on to your hats. Grab hold of your seats for this one. We're not talking newfangled here. We're going old school. This used to be the standard.
Hey, Nana.
Before they had natural gas. The kerosene cookers.
If you have an old projection TV in the shed, look at the front of it. If you get close to it and you move side to side and it looks like you're looking at circles, big round circles in it, you have a Fresnel lens in your TV.
Yeah.
My Dollar Tree doesn't carry them, unfortunately.
Yeah. So yeah, you got this one here. This one, has the fuel tank on the side, and really cool. These are all actually these are all listed as kerosene stoves, but they're also, especially like the ones that have the bar across the top here. And this one here can do both not only kerosene, they can do alcohol, diesel fuel, white gas.
The old school.
You want something that but they need to have the one going across for them to be multi-fuel, or have, like this one does, have the little heating tray as well with the little white thing on. Let me get to that. Here's a really cool one, guys. This is a kerosene heater stove. And so you can cook on top of the kerosene heater. And they even have some that are set up square, so you can put a little oven on it so you can bake your bread and stuff. And the white stuff down here in the bottom is the wick for it that goes inside of it, and the way it works to do it. And here's one of the old school kerosene heaters that has the spirits tray up here, and gets that whole top piece really hot so that it vaporizes the kerosene as it comes out and gets a nice clean flame. And modern version of that. And look at that glow red in there. Perfect. So it gets nice and hot and it cooks good. Now the multi-fuels. All right, Scott, this is for you. Likes bragging as multi-fuel. So yeah, this alcohol one, yeah, does with the spirits cup, does diesel, kerosene, and alcohol. This one here also does kerosene, diesel, alcohol. I have one similar to this that also said it will do vegetable oil as well. But I would probably say you would probably want to use olive oil, as it burns hotter and cleaner than regular vegetable oil. I know corn oil burns a little bit hotter too.
Hey, Dorothy's.
Hey, and this is the Asian version of the Coleman multi-fuel stove. And the purpose of this, the tubes going through it, is to heat up the fuel into a vapor. Sort of like the old cars used to vapor lock when it got too hot out and you're running across the desert, and the gas would start vaporizing the fuel line alongside the motor block, the engine block. So, but this vaporizes it, so when it comes back in, it's vapor coming out, not liquid. Now, I have one similar to this, and what it does, like I said, it just talks about what, all the different stuff you can do on it. A friend of mine years ago, I can't find it. I have a PDF document somewhere that lists on the one column, it lists the cutting agents, and across the top, it'll list like kerosene, number 2 diesel, number 1 diesel, vegetable oil, corn oil, olive oil, rapeseed oil, motor oil, and all sorts of things. And the cutting agents are basically alcohol, gasoline, and white gas. And it tells what mixture ratio you need to do to get a good flame out of your Coleman stoves.
Well, if you can do math, I can tell you what number 2 diesel and gasoline mix is. It's 1 gallon per 300 gallons. 1 gallon of gasoline per 300 gallons of diesel, because that's what we used to have to use in our semis to run up in the upper northeast when it was 40 below zero plus wind chill.
Yeah. And basically the old submariners used to carry alcohol, used to have rubbing alcohol they would pour into the diesel fuel to thin it out into submarines to get a few more RPMs out of them. Okay. Reviewing several of them here. You got your standard backpacking stoves, the one that uses the propane or the dual fuel, which is the isobutane propane things. The your standard white gas or kerosene.
Hey, Ticker's wife.
Stoves. Yeah. Here we go. This one right here in the background here on the upper left here. Those, just that part there is what costs from $4 to $7 on sale on Amazon. They're really good for heating up a pot of water. And if you have a small skillet, you can cook fish in it, because that's what my scouts do with those. And if you're really interested, here's a whole choice of backpacking stoves and camp stoves.
Gil denies it, but I think that's hidden in his deep underground bunker somewhere. He just won't admit it.
I have probably about 6 of these, and I have a whole bunch more that they don't have here, because I started collecting my stoves 40 years ago. Okay, so
yes,
we are done with my little presentation there. But a lot of stoves, there are a lot of videos out there on how to make alcohol stoves, kerosene stoves, using the just copper tubing, and either a glass jar or a metal can. You can buy the pump kits on Amazon, and you can take an old propane, one of those old propane backpacking cylinder things, bleed it all out, drill a pinhole in it, fill it full of water through that pinhole, and then really go to work on it, cutting it and soldering on it. Once you get it all aired out, then you're safe. But you can make your own little storage fuel tank and make a alcohol or kerosene stove that way. The rocket stoves, which were similar to those ones that had the electronic devices on the side of it. I'm scrolling back here really fast to find. There we go. Where is it here? Yeah. Okay, put this back up. This type of stove is similar to a rocket stove, and so is this type stove here. You can make these. There are all sorts of videos out there on how to make these out of like the number 10 size can, which is about a gallon size canning food can. And you take a smaller can, you mix you mix a concrete, plaster Paris, and bitramite mixture to put it around it, act as an insulation between the two layers, so it keeps all the heat inside and doesn't radiate out the side at you. So there's a whole bunch of neat things like that. And someone talked about the charge phones. That was, yeah, it was no, the Kathy says that wasn't my work table. So this one here, they have these things out there to heat up to it has a probe that goes in there into the fire that's in here, and it produces enough electricity to charge a UB, anything that you charge by USB, phones, cameras, flashlights, any type of stuff you need to charge that way. This will charge it, and this is the same thing on that one. But the rocket stoves, there's plenty of videos out there. Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, that jumped on me. There we go. The Brashards have built rocket stoves from cinder blocks, and that's one of the designs you can see out there. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Cinder blocks is one of the easy ways. You can get the old ceramic tiles or clay pipe, and that will work too. And you can get the square chimney tiles around some places. Save those. Those work really good. So there's a lot of really neat things, ways you can build the rocket stoves. Some people I've seen actually build big rocket stoves to like on a patio for like a barbecue. I wish Reed was in here, because Reed's been to Russia, and they used rocket stove central heating for some of the homes over there.
Sure, Anthony. Sure. Yes, you can create a Swedish rocket stove. That's where you split a log in quarters and you put a couple sticks in it so it creates a void. Then you wrap it with some twine. Then you stick some tinder in the center of it, light it on fire, and it burns for hours.
Yeah.
A lot slower than if you would try and just burn the log by itself.
Yeah.
Because it burns from the inside out, and it's a lot of heat.
Yeah. Yeah, those and I've seen them. There's some shows or videos showing, you can do quarter, you can do eighths. You cut it more for it depending on the type of wood. If it's a really hard wood, you want to split it more times because it burns a little bit slower. That way you have more surfaces to burn. And yeah, you can get those going good. I also saw one where a guy took a auger saw, one of those hole augers, 2.5-inch hole augers, and drilled down into the middle of it first, then split it, and dumped all all the sawdust he drilled out back in around it to heat it up to go. Trying to figure out how to get all right, simple. Anthony, think of it this way. Will is on the far east side of Mountain Zone time, and I'm on the far west side of it. Anthony, if you have any other things you want to add, you got the link. You can still come up here. And so, yeah, there's a lot of other different type stoves
Here,
that you can use.
I got to share.
You got to share.
I got to share.
What do you got to share?
Right there.
Ooh, a visual share.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That is a rocket mass heater stove for your house. It starts, let me get over here on the page. You fuel it over in here, and it heats everything all along here, and it radiates through all the walls. Essentially, this turns your whole home into a heater. These are what they use in Siberia to heat their homes.
Yeah. Let me see if it's what else I can find.
Hey, Ryan,
Mass
Robert and Cindy.
rocket home heater. Did I get that right?
Rocket mass stove.
There we go. Cool. Images. So let me throw this one up. So I just Googled mass rocket home heater, and it kind of shows the one there that here that similar to what he was just showing. You know, several of them all basically have the same type setup, and it goes in through how it works. And
I mean, they get pretty creative with these things.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the one channel I used to watch from Russia, and it was hard to understand because he spoke in very broken English. I watched him. This was about 5 years ago. He actually went step by step through his build process, and he's no longer on YouTube. Otherwise, I'd show it to you guys. But he did an amazing job.
Yeah. Here's where he's showing one of the ways how it goes around, the tubing going around before he puts the rest of the mortar over it. So here's one that's just sitting in the basement. And I guess you know, they use that as an area heater down there. But there's all sorts of different ways of heating, and if some of these are done right, I can't see why you can't cook on them as well.
Oh, you can.
Like this one here, I would say if they did this right, you should be able to, instead of having to throw pillows up there, you should be able to cook on it as well. And here's some of the brickwork ones that I like, the type that I believe Reed was talking about, how they run it around. And that's just in the process of them building it and making the heat, the different type ways of making a mass rocket heater stove. So this is something you'd want to do this summer, and so it's ready for the winter time.
Yes, if you drill a hole down the center of a log and then drill a side hole toward the center, you can turn a whole log into a rocket stove that way as
There's
well.
Anthony here. Boom.
I can stop talking now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna actually go get
Yeah. And I've seen them where they Dave, where they make those out of a log, where they actually they take the log and they pile the rocks up around it, and so, especially at the far end, and it just kind of burns in through itself. And you know, I've seen a video on that somewhere on YouTube. It's out there. So, hey, Anthony, anything you have to contribute?
I don't know how far y'all got, because I was, like I said, retarded on time. So,
Well,
what have y'all already hit?
That PowerPoint I sent you, we've gone through the PowerPoint. Now we're talking about stuff you can do on your own. You know, if you want
cool.
you know, because there's a lot of videos on just about everything I showed, how you can make one on your own. So just about everything you can adapt, you know, like the one thing I told them, there's a part out there you can buy from Mr. Heater to turn your old white gas Coleman stove so it runs on propane.
Yeah, I think Reed was talking about that not too long ago when he was,
Yeah, and the part is on Amazon. The part's at Big Five Sporting Goods. It's at Cabela's.
I think they got it at my Tractor Supply too, because I got a whole Mr. Heater wall section.
Yeah, they probably have it there too. And they got some good. We're talking right now. We're going into the mass rocket stove heaters, and they got, you know, show different ways they work to heat up, you know, the place. And so yeah, that's I know Reed likes talking about these. I wish Reed was here to talk about, because he was been to Russia, and that's how they heat their houses over. Then they have like the the bricks in the side where it just goes back and forth up the one wall as it vents out, and so the whole wall is actually the flue and heats up.
I know I've seen a couple things on Nat Geo. I can't remember the name of the show, but it had that couple in the mountains of North Carolina. Was it Amelia and Tony? I don't know if anyone else has seen this show I'm talking about, but they built a little rocket mass heater that they could sit on to heat their house, that little house they had going on. So
yeah, that's what I got up here. That's what I got up here right now. One of those type.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've seen it. I know cob houses can do it really easily because cob's not flammable. So it's, the threat is minimally, very low, not to the, wood frame houses we all have, the wood and drywall. But I've only made rocket heaters from, bricks, standard bricks, feeding from the bottom like you would like a normal pizza oven. But I've seen them make it out of steel as well, like the little folded ones from the battle boxes. Yeah, those are coming out now.
Yeah. David Imaginator Wood says we built it for radiant heat in the floor and then the walls. Yeah, up there in at North Idaho. Yeah, you need it up there.
Yeah, there we go. Live free or die. See, Martha got it. She knows. It's that Nat Geo show. Trying to think. I mean, aside from like rocket heater, you can think about like the old school ways. Have we talked about the old school ways, like like old boiler systems? Or are we talking about just strictly cooking?
Well, the original gist was for cooking. How are you going to cook? But if it's wintertime, how are you going to heat your house too?
Well, yeah, because you can go back to the old school Roman ways where they had basically boiling water underneath the floor. That way they could heat up everything. And, obviously boiling water, you can also cook while you're boiling the water. So it's almost a twofer.
Yeah.
You've been doing that for thousands of years. So why not?
Yeah. The one of the things, I've got the pieces to do it. I just haven't had a chance to get out into the shop to make it. I was going to make a kerosene cook stove out of a bunch of quote trash I have around here. I just bought some copper tubing and a valve. Everything else is going to be scrap stuff I have around here. I'm just going to put it together and build it. So that's going to be one of my videos coming out here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of easy stuff. The more I started getting into this, and reading up on it, and then I remembered that PDF a friend of mine gave me, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, about, how to take, using cutting agents against like olive oil, vegetable oil, different fuels and stuff to get them to work in a white gas stove. So
yeah, I don't know much about that.
This is like, you just about anything you can do that's liquid and can burn, you can do a lot of stuff with. Oh, dummy me. Okay.
I wasn't going to say that, but you did. So
I'm a dummy.
Hey,
there
Will,
is
hi when you came in, Will.
There is something else I talked about before. It's Dietz lamps makes a cooking lamp. So basically, it has a bigger wick on the lamp, and it has the metal frame out, and the top of it, how you normally pull the top up to get the globe to bend out and change the globe or work on the wick. Well, instead of just pulling up, you basically give it an eighth of a turn, and the top pops off, and another piece pops on and screws on, and it's got the stuff to put a frying pan on or a pot.
Here, I went and looked it up for you.
Okay.
I'm a little slow at this end.
Yes, the Millennium.
Right there.
Yeah. So yeah, the lid, you can see the lid sitting down on the ground next to it there, and then the wire basket locks on there, and you can put a pot on there or a frying pan on there. It's not fast cooking.
That's a good way to keep it warm or tortures. I mean, keep stuff warm.
It will boil water. It will boil water in it. And they say it takes like 20 minutes to get the water to boil. But, hey, if that's all you have for your light and for your cooking, hey.
Well, why not kill two birds with one stone? You might as well boil some water, especially if you're trying to, got cold outside and you want to make some hot chocolate or something. Why not?
Exactly. Or tea or coffee or, hot apple cider, whatever. Yeah, you have a way to make hot water and have light for inside your house.
That reminds me. Now I have to go buy hot chocolate because I ran out.
All right. Kathy just put up the link for Dietz lamps. And the Dietz lamps run on kerosene or lamp oil. Hey. Yeah. All right. Where was that one at? Was that at Walmart?
No.
Okay. If you look at Walmart, you're going to find the price exactly the same, $57. I checked 4 different places. They all had the same price for it.
Hey,
the only thing neat was Walmart had free shipping.
Well, that place has got free shipping over $45.
Oh, so you get 2. Well, $45. I only need 1. It's $57. Yeah. Yeah.
Win-win. Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is going to determine where you're at. Because like people like me, I'm in the South and we have plenty of wood. So obviously wood cooking makes sense to me. But if you're like in places like the desert or in Texas or a lot of the prairie land, wood might be harder to come by. So gas might be your better option.
Yeah.
And also, if I'm sure you hit solar, right? You already hit solar cookers.
Yes. I've had the sun ovens and the Fresnel lenses and, the hot boxes.
Putting stuff on your dashboard in July.
Imaginator wood. If you're talking those standard Coleman style lanterns, if you're handy and creative enough and you got a wire bender, you could probably make yourself a wire stand that would sit all the way on the ground, that would go all the way up to the top of it, and you could slide your lantern in and out from underneath it to make yourself a small cooking space like that for those.
Yeah. On some of the ones, I wish I got several of the Coleman lanterns out in the cargo container, but on top of it, got the big green disc on top. You can take and get the simple L brackets I use to make the emergency stove. Just leave them straight and tip them so they out at the farthest out edge of it, and just use some sheet metal screws and just screw it down on there. 3 of them. That way, it's self-leveling, and then you can and then you drill some bigger holes so it vents straight up through it to whatever you have, the pot or frying pan you have on top that you want to heat with. That's a very good idea, Dave. What I started to think about, and I just lost the thought.
Well,
sorry.
Engine. Okay. You talk about putting stuff on your dash to cook. When I was working construction, several of the excavator operators would bring in these big old foil wrap dinners, and when they start, they'd start their shift, they would put it on the engine block, not over the exhaust manifold, but farther back on the engine block. And 4 hours later, they had steak and potatoes that were cooked and just falling apart. And
that's what the Mexicans did when I was working construction. That's why I even wrote it down here with my notes, engine bay. Because especially the lull.
When I worked for Halliburton, that's what we did. You get to an oil rig where you work for Halliburton, you're there 8, 12, 16 hours before you're, get any time off. There's no running to McDonald's in the middle of an oil field. So you bring something in aluminum foil, you keep it in the cooler, figure out what time you're going to eat lunch, and you start cooking it when you do.
Yeah. Those guys used to put those things on lulls, especially if they're working up high. I think it'd be idling for God knows how long. They would just open the little bay, put it in there, and next thing you know, like they got like 4 or 5 tinfoil dinners. I'm like, come on, man, you didn't give me one? No.
One of the guys made the mistake. He saw the guys doing it. He just put a can of beans in there. Forgot to punch a hole in the top of the can of beans. Yeah. We're all through. Bam! It's like everyone's looking overhead. Did you not put a hole in that can of beans you put in there? Oh, I had to put a hole in it. And that's that thing interesting. Like with some of these things, like the sterno cans, the alcohol heaters, even the Dietz lantern. If you have like a can of barbecued beans, Chilean beans, something like that, all you just need to do is punch a hole in the top and just set it up there and just let it slow cook.
Slow cook? No. You make one of these, put a little grate on the top, you get it going, you put your can on the top, and in 2 minutes your food is cooked.
Yeah, but the problem is
I cooked a can of ravioli for my son on top of this, and it took 2 minutes, and it was hot.
Did it start to burn a little bit on the bottom of the can though?
No.
Oh, you're lucky. I always had the problem when my stuff starts to burn. That's why I put it on the slow stuff and just let it slowly cook over, a little bit longer, like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And that way it slowly heats it evenly all the way through.
Hey, we got another Canadian in the house. Hello, Ontario.
Hey. All right, CR, you're no longer alone. Hey, I haven't seen Lori. Is Lori in the house?
I haven't seen her.
She hasn't been on Discord or nothing for the last 36 hours.
I hope she's okay.
I know she wasn't feeling good the other day, so.
I remember seeing a comment a little while back about fermentation for cooking. Yes and no, but one thing that definitely needs to be addressed is if you are on the coast and you are fishing, you can always cook with acid. So like lemon lime juice on fish, that'll cook it. So
chemical reaction, yeah.
Yeah, quick and easy way to cook if you need to is by cooking with an acid. Fermentation is also a style of cooking, yes, technically, but it's making everything more bioavailable. So you definitely want to ferment anyway if you can. It's absolutely great for your stomach.
Yeah. But yeah, there's if the power's out and you got a generator going, you got a hot engine block there.
Yep, hot engine block. Well, you might have to take your little cover off because a lot of generators are coming with those little plastic covers now or whatever. But yeah, you can pull those things off all day. Cook something.
Yep.
Just make sure you're not, putting it next to the exhaust and getting exhaust blowing all over your food. That'd be, horrible.
Yeah. Now, if you're so inclined, and you wanted to make your generator quieter, and you get that flexible pipe, you weld it on, you bring it up, and you get yourself a bigger muffler. But if you turn that muffler sideways and put supports on it as it goes across by the generator, and put tap the one side flat a little bit, now or put a little divot in the one side of that car muffler. That thing's going to heat up nice and hot from the generator.
Yep, that's me, Ontario.
It is an optical delusion. If you're seeing it, you're delusional and need to seek medical attention immediately.
It's not really me. And yes, Ceviche is right.
But guys, think of start thinking out of the box on this stuff. Sometimes there's simple little things you can do to.
There's also the good old-fashioned Dakota fire pit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's really good, especially if you're trying to hide your flame or you have a lot of wind.
Yeah. It's sort of like a combination between a buried pit and a rocket stove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we used to have these all the time because the wind, especially during the wintertime here, the wind is there's no trees no leaves on the trees to block the wind, so it's just constantly whipping at you. So you got to dig a hole at least.
Yeah.
Or else your flame is going to go out.
Or your embers are going to go flying across the yard.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's horrible now, especially because we've had so much rain this year. I couldn't even start a fire, I'm sure, with like diesel fuel. Everything's just so wet. It's just mud.
That's what I've got right now is nothing but mud.
Yeah. I was walking.
Go ahead.
I was to film today, walking back and forth to the barn, and I was literally sinking down like this far in mud. It was ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
I'm
going to put this up here real quick.
Okay. Splat.
Taking a barrel of some sort. Probably looks like since it's got a handle on it, I would say that's probably a 10-gallon bucket or something. And they turned it into a rocket stove.
Mm-hmm.
So they got little ones there, all sorts of neat ones. Nice cast iron pot on that one. So you don't have to go really big on the rocket stoves. You can cobble something together yourself.
I'm sure you can do something with a can and a coffee can if you're really, getting froggy.
Yeah. So I guess when here they took some vent pipe, put it in there, ran it up, and then they poured the like I said, the cement, bitramite, and casting plaster mix around it, and
Later,
that
Scott.
would do it.
All right, Billy. Have a good night.
All right, Scott. Big day tomorrow, huh? All righty. Sleep tight. So,
I'd be careful putting any kind of heat next to a cinder block, though, because I've watched cinder blocks personally in my own face blow up. So make sure they're lined with something.
Yeah. I mean, not all cinder block is created equal either.
No, not at all. But I know for a fact because I've had it in my face, and I told myself I would always warn people from that point on to watch out with cinder block and fire.
Yeah. I know they they used to have at the Home Depot by my house in California, out in the garden section where they had all the cinder block and all the stonework and stuff. They actually had the 6-inch square tile tubes. I don't know why but they had a couple pallets out there for the longest time, and a couple would disappear off there. Every time I go there, there's a couple more missing from it, and so I have a feeling people were making rocket stoves out of that 6-inch ceramic tile.
We can only hope so. I hope it's nothing related to drugs. New way to cook meth.
I wasn't going to say a word.
I wasn't going to go there.
Next thing you know, we're starting to see videos how you can cook crazy stuff with pottery and whatever. Yeah. It's like we just started a monster.
Yeah, please don't give Mother ideas. I got enough of that junk around me as it is.
Okay, Robert has a good one here. The welding rod cans, nice and square. Cut it at a 45-degree angle, put two of them together, and have it some overlap, put some screws in there. Now you got yourself a little rocket stove.
Now, see, if I had a shop and a welder, I'd build my own rocket stoves. I'd probably sell them for a lot cheaper than what most people do. But if you can weld, it's really easy to make a rocket stove.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on how big you want to make it and how heavy you want to make it.
Yeah. There is a channel out there. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I'm subscribed to him, and he was putting out a whole bunch of videos on all different ways of building rocket stoves. There's something like
was it Cooking Preparedness 101?
Huh?
Cooking Preparedness 101?
No, it's something. It's a weird name of his channel. Like Green Project, something or other, or Red Project. I have no idea. Yeah, and he makes so many rocket stoves so many different ways. Okay. Ontario, you're thinking that channel's King of Random. That's not the one I'm watching, but if King of Random does do that, that's cool too.
If I remember correctly, Grant made one a couple years back, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Didn't he die?
Yes.
Yeah.
Paraglider accident.
Yeah.
Horrible accident. Yeah. That's what I thought.
But yeah. Made a rocket stove out of wood blocks. Green Power Science might be it. I'm not sure. But yeah, he he made all sorts of rocket stoves and cooking things. And then there's another channel. I mean, the guy shows you how to make. He's probably made like 50 different types of penny stoves, alcohol stoves, out of soda cans. Then he made a big one out of the Arizona iced tea cans, and he's done ones out of your 16 ounce vegetable can, your green beans come in out of cans like that.
I mean, I've made forges like to blacksmith and to melt metals with, like brake caliper, not brake caliper, but brake drum forges. Almost the same way. I guess you could kind of move things around with just that piping. It's really not that bad.
There's just a quick YouTube search of rocket stoves, and Banshee.
See why number 3 probably got a lot of clicks.
That's clickbait.
She's actually extremely smart. She can cook. She builds a lot of the stuff on that channel with her husband. They've built some rocket stoves that were questionable, and they even built one too close to their house and melted their house a little bit. So they have no problem showing their failures too. But there's 5 above that are all just showing how they make them, and there's multiple different styles. Let me get over there real quick. But my computer isn't working too good. But there's different styles of rocket stoves. Yeah. And this one here is actually showing how he made it. And if I remember correctly, somewhere in the description, he gives dimensions and everything. So if you can weld, you can make your own rocket stoves.
Yeah.
What's up, Modern Refugee?
Hey. How's it going?
Hey, Modern. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim. But let's see. And any YouTube channel that shows their screw ups and said, all right, this is what I did wrong, and this is how you correct and do it right, it's something worth watching, because then you're not going to make the same mistakes.
I've made many mistakes on my channel. I think failure is a really good teacher, and I think if someone else can watch me fail, maybe they won't do it.
Yeah.
Hell, my video today, I was talking about all my failures. It was pretty bad.
I'm not getting updates on anybody's videos. It takes YouTube 2 or 3 days to tell me, hey, they just uploaded this video. I go look, it was 3 days ago.
Yeah, that's happened to me constantly. Like, hey, I got a new video to watch. It was uploaded Friday. It's Wednesday. Literally just happened this morning. I'm like, well, way to go there, YouTube notification gang.
Yeah, so anybody out there have any other ideas on cooking ways, other things we haven't mentioned that we forgot to mention? Let's see what we're looking at. We got 28. I think we got 28 watching here.
27.
27 now. Yeah. So I know we've had a few come in here, so I'm going to do a quick blast from the past here real quick here, guys. Let me, wrong one. Where's it? There's it is. Go back to the top. Okay, get that ready. Okay, so going to run through this really quick here, guys. For everyone out there, we're going to do it through again. So different types of cooking gear. Propane, your standard little ones with the green bottle there. They have fancier ones. You can see the regulator in back where they have these little ovens that are, and the stove top there you can cook on. These are great. They have the rubber feet on. They're made to go use in the house. Outside, backpacking, turkey boiler, can also boil water for canning, for water bath. Your standard brand new type Coleman. Bunch of different backpacking type stoves and stuff. Your jet boils and your other ones for heating water quickly. And of course your old standby there, and then your big monster for inside those big old huge canvas tents, outfitting tents.
There's Lori Jean.
Hey, good evening, Lori.
Hey, Lori, there's now 3 Canadians in here. Yay!
You're starting a trend.
All right, this is a wood burner, but this one you can also use briquettes on, charcoal briquettes. This uses twigs and stuff. This is a little backpacking one. I have one of these. Your commercial rocket stove. The rocket stove with a special attachment so you can heat 2 things at once. Just an outdoor heater type stove, folds up, collapses, and you feed your wood in from the bottom, and you set your frying pan or pot on top. This one has the electrical device on it. It has a rod that protrudes in there, transfers heat, and turns the heat into electricity, so you can charge any USB device, cell phone, tablet, flashlights, battery charger, whatever. Here's a rocket stove version of it. One of these expedition type tent stoves where you can has a water heater on the side of it. You don't have to use it in a tent. You can use it outside. And in my video where I took the briquette starter and turned it into a emergency stove. Starno.
What about the Weber grills? I didn't see your standard $20 Weber grill.
Yeah, I forgot about that. All right, that's why I wanted you in here. All right, Weber grill, something we didn't talk about. And with briquettes, your regular stuff. Hey, yeah, if you got a patio covering, even if it's raining out there, you can cook on your Weber grill.
That is my default Weber grill.
Hey, you had a question brought up, so I went and searched it out for you. So if you want to share it.
All right, we'll switch over here for the question. What was the question?
Have you talked about cob earthen ovens? And there you go, folks.
No, we did not talk about those. And those are great. It looks like this one here is a perfect one for doing bread and pizza in.
I will be building one of those soon.
Cool.
I am slowly gathering brick for that. I have to go to a house about 2 hours away in the next few weekends, whenever it dries out, so I can drive my truck across the field. And I'm grabbing a whole bunch of brick from a down chimney.
Cool. Now, in the chimneys, if you can get the fireplace bricks, they're a different brick than what's up high on the chimney because they take the most heat. So they're
let's talk about
it's like a 1790s, late 1700s, early 1800s house, and the chimney is all that really good stone, the ceramic brick lining. So I'm going to try to grab as much as I can.
Cool. All right. Hey, Dave, can you click on the upper right image?
This one?
Yeah. All right. So that's your design layout and stuff. Now, has anybody been to a pizza parlor that had a brick oven, like where they had the fire in there?
There's a different one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen the ones where they have the fire below, and I've also seen the ones where they have the fire inside in the back, and they push the fire off to the side, and every now and then they'll toss, when they pull a pizza out, they'll toss some more wood in there. You use the thing to flick it up on there, so the fire is inside there next to the in the back, so it heats it all up and provides heat for the pizza, whatever you're cooking in there.
Well, older homes, especially down colonial and antebellum style houses, had what's called beehive ovens that were right next, basically adjacent to your fireplace or your cooking hearth. And a lot of houses still have them, and that's basically the same design. If you ever look on like Amazon Prime, there's a show called A Taste of History. It was on PBS for a very long time. I think it's actually still on. And he does all that old school colonial style cooking, and beehive oven is definitely centered on there with that style.
There you go. You got your oven, your fireplace, your pizza area, warmer, as well as regular cooktop.
Yeah. And besides doing pizzas in there, you can do some good
bread.
Breads, but also do some good sandwiches. Slice it open, put your meat on there, and put it in there, your cheese. Once it's all melted, drag it back out, fold it up, and go to heaven.
No. Make bread in brick oven outdoors. Everybody within a 5-mile radius be beating on your door. I want some bread, man. Man, make it a piece of bread, man. Because hot, warm bread out of an oven with freshly slathered butter, not slaughtered, but slathered butter all over it. Will drive even your meanest neighbor to friendliness, pounding on your door, begging for a piece.
So Anthony, after you get it built and you cook some bread in there, you're gonna have to have a couple cameras up showing everybody coming from all miles around.
Well, hopefully the
All
wind
right.
will be going in the direction where nothing's there for like a good 3 or 4 miles. So maybe no one will bother me for that first time.
Yeah. All right, so back we were talking. I had some. You'll see someone coming through all the woods at you.
I'll see the cows coming after me. Oh gosh, cows want bread.
Yeah. All right, so you got the sterno stoves here, the kits now, and then of course, the old-fashioned one. I mean, the ones you can find at any Walmart or Big Five Sporting Goods, stuff, places like that. Double burner sterno, and then sterno's trying to imitate the jet boil by having it where I guess it has all the fins up on top there to transfer the heat and designed to get more jet flame to the sterno. The fold up backpacking one. Covered the white gas. Your Coleman gasoline, fuel for gasoline stoves, catalytic heaters. Ooh, that's something I forgot about. I haven't seen those in years. The white gas catalytic heaters. So if it's in the wintertime, you may want one of those to help heat your house. Of course, you got to make sure you have enough ventilation so you don't kill yourself.
Die.
And have a carbon monoxide thing. So you got your single burner white gas, your double burners. You get them with the stoves, the ovens that go on them, so you can turn your stove into an oven. Your different models of them. I got some really old models that had rounded corners and stuff.
Good night, Tinker's wife.
Later, Tinker's wife.
Alcohol, small alcohol stoves, bigger, fancier alcohol stoves, ancient alcohol stoves, really ancient alcohol stoves. And, this one on the left here, I would consider that one a multi-fuel one because you can actually also use kerosene, diesel, or white gas in there. Same thing with this one.
Ethanol.
Yeah. And here's your bread. Sun ovens, cookies. They're doing cookies in that one.
I don't know if I'd cook bread in a sun oven though. It's doesn't seem like it'd get hot enough.
Yeah, you have the right one. Well, I'll show you one here in a minute that gets plenty hot. You can make some homemade ones. And you got the big trailer mounted sun ovens with the big reflectors that get up to 400 and something degrees.
You're talking to space on that one. What's Mars saying to you?
I see there are trailer mounted ones that are, they cook hot. I mean, I saw them doing brisket in one of those. It's another smaller homemade one. And then your Fresnel lenses. Kerosene heaters, your kerosene stoves. Old school kerosene. Which in a pinch on these kerosene, you can use number 1 diesel fuel. It's almost the same thing as kerosene. All sorts of different ones. Kerosene heater, a heater that doubles as a cook surface. So all your different kerosene ones, your multi-fuel ones, you can use multi-fuels like, alcohol, white gas, kerosene, diesel fuel, and some of them you can use vegetable oil straight, or you got to mix one of the other fuels with the vegetable oil to get it to burn cleaner and hotter. So got all the cool ones. Wrap it up here with all your different type of stoves. And I wish that was my tool bench. I got probably a third that number out here. I got stuff they don't have, and I got a lot of stuff they do have.
I have maybe 2 of those.
Actually, I counted up. I think I got 60. I got the jet boil. I got one of these. I got one of these. And I got one of these other ones back here. And this is the a larger version of a off-market jet boil. I got one of those. And then I got a bunch that they don't have up here that from back in 30 years ago. But, okay, escape. Escape.
Run away.
There we go.
Oh, crap.
So
there goes my cat again.
So that's what we talked about earlier, guys. If you missed the first half of it, and we went through that, I went through it a little bit slower. We talked a little more about the stuff. But yeah, and of course, I forgot to put the Weber grill in there, and they have the wood pellet barbecues.
Well, yeah, you get the Traegers with like the smokers where you can smoke your stuff, but that's wood, and so
Yeah. And so some of those wood smoker ones, if you don't put the water tray in there for the smoke, and you just have the fire in there,
mm-hmm.
And you get the ones that you put 12-inch pizzas in. You put several 12-inch pizzas in there and cook pizza.
I know I got a Traeger, but it's electric, so I have to plug it in. It's a pellet, but
okay, old school prepper just put up something here. Get my thing over here. Boom.
Emu. Isn't that an animal that you shave for cloth?
That's what they do in Hawaii. Yeah, they do the underground pit thing with coal.
Yeah. But so depending on the disaster, what happened, that might be a way to go. I mean, if it's just an earthquake that took out the gas line, the power lines, and everything, well, you can still cook outdoors. It's use something like that.
Yeah, you definitely also want to consider somewhere like if your house doesn't have an overhang or a porch, somewhere where you can cook out of the rain.
Yeah,
you don't want to be stuck where your only option to cook is outside and it's raining and you have nowhere to cook. So
that's what I like about Walmart has those 10 by 10 straight leg pop-ups for $89.
I mean, yeah, just simple, even an umbrella or whatever to put your grill under. I mean, anything basically that's just going to keep you dry so you can actually burn wood if wood's your only option.
Yeah. I mean, it's like in the cargo container, I got 3 of those double packs from Sam's Club or Costco of the Kingsford charcoal. I got 3 double packs unopened and a bunch of singles that had a little bit taken out for scouts. So I got plenty of charcoal briquettes to cook with. And that's the thing is charcoal briquettes don't go bad.
No, they're talking about pistols in the side chat.
I'm talking about guns because I was confused for a second. I was like, Gen 3 Glock 27.
Yeah.
I don't think you can cook on those.
Sure you can. Hey,
that's a different type of cooking.
I think you can kill the person cooking, but I don't think you can actually cook.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's how you cook with it.
Yeah. It says, just setting up a simple tarp would work too. Patio umbrella. All right. Kathy just put up a link here for everybody.
See,
how to prepare and cook all right.
Cook and eat. Oh, there's word is in there. I didn't see the word in the first time. My brain skipped it.
Oh no, you're good, Ontario. I'm just confused because I was like, I looked at the chat just to see what y'all were talking about. I'm like, wait, what? I'm just lost.
If it's seriously your first gun, just from coming from somebody who's played with a few, and I'm no expert by any means, but if it's your first, a full size would be your best to learn with. It'll have less recoil than a smaller one. It'll fit your hands better because you, like me, are a bigger guy and have big hands. You're going to want a full size pistol.
Yeah.
Only drawback is they don't have a safety. Their safety is a little thing on the trigger. So if you want something with an actual click safety, you need to get something else besides the Glock.
And for the price you're going to spend on a Glock, I would recommend a Grand Power. If you don't know what Grand Power is, go look up Grand Power. They're imported. They have a twisting barrel instead of a flip up barrel. So the recoil is straight back into your hand and your arm. Instead of flipping it up, it comes straight back. And it's like shooting a 22 with a 9mm plus P.
Yeah. And of course, I'm the oddball on the panel here. I would recommend go out, get yourself a nice Smith & Wesson, Colt, or Ruger wheel gun.
Yeah,
Something with a 6.8 or 10-inch barrel that doesn't have hardly any recoil at all because you got enough metal out there in front to hold it on target.
Yeah, I was thinking revolver for first pistol. I was thinking revolver too.
Revolver, yeah. I mean, it's just because that slide action throws you off. If you get down with a revolver and
not with the grand power.
Yeah, special ones like that. Yeah.
No, I just for a first gun. I mean, it's great because whenever you decide to move up, you can always throw that, and it's like a backup and your nightstand and you're on your ankle and your whatever. It's good. They're usually pretty cheap.
Oh, all right. Now, okay. Where to go? Just jumped.
And brass, yeah, the grand power is a DASA.
Okay. There, man, it jumped a lot. About 8 things jumped in here on the chat here on me. All right. If you have a generator, the air fryers and stuff like that, you can still run those off a generator. So that's something we didn't even think about. If you had a generator for power, you could do like the George Foreman grill, waffle iron.
Those take up a surprisingly large amount of wattage. Definitely make sure you pay attention to the wattage requirement on those because holy crap.
Yeah. So long as you have a 20 amp breaker on your generator, you should be able to run one of those off the generator. Granted, you may have to unplug the refrigerators and stuff. Of course, they don't run all the time, but and just have a couple lights going. Of course, if everybody's using LED lights now, lights take even less juice than they used to.
Night, Nana.
Night. All right. Let me go back up here real quick and drop that back out. Yeah, so that was something I wasn't even thinking about having generator power when I put this together, guys. So,
well, you said no electricity, so I was assuming you were taking that part out.
Yeah, there's you said no electricity power lines now, but seriously, everybody that's still in the chat here, put in a number 1 if you have a generator, and number 2 if you don't have a generator.
Can't have one where I'm at.
Yeah. The only thing you could have, Dave, would be one of those, quote, solar generators that are actually, the battery bank and everything all built together, portable ones.
Yep.
2. Uh-oh. Ryan has a generator. All right. It looks like Ryan's the only one with a generator out there besides you and me, Anthony.
Well, we live in a hurricane zone, so it's eventually you're gonna get one.
Yeah, you're gonna need one.
It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when.
Howie has a generator. Okay. We went down to Costco yesterday down in Pocatello, and they have the both them and Sam's Club have dual fuel generators that for $650, and they were about the same wattage that they have on them, but the dual fuel, so you use gasoline or you can hook a propane tank up to it.
Nice thing is right now, winter is just about over, and every place is going to start selling their generators off to make room for the next coming season stuff.
Yeah.
So start watching Home Depot, Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Walmart. Any place that carries a generator, they're going to start putting them on sale in about 2 to 3 weeks to try and get them off the showroom floor.
Yeah,
don't forget about stores too, because I know a lot of auto parts stores carry the Champion generators, and same with like Northern Tool. They carry a lot of generators as well. A lot of people don't really think about them, and they also get rotated often.
Yeah, I was noticing that the the Costco down here in Pocatello, they had 3 different types of generators in there, and they had a lot of them. So
I think I got mine for like 300, not even $300. It's not a super big one, but it did everything I needed it to do. Working in construction. So absolutely, if you get a chance to get one.
All right. Tim has a couple generators. WD Glock and Roll has 3 generators.
Christy, take this one step at a time. Don't try doing everything all at once, because you will get overloaded and you will get burned out, and you're going to throw your hands up and say, it.
Yeah.
Just take it one step at a time. That's all. That's every one of us started one step at a time.
Yeah.
And when we all started, none of us had food. Now most of us have food.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just one step at a time. Don't push yourself too hard.
Yeah. If you want a generator just to provide lights and keep your refrigerator, freezer going, you don't need to get a big, powerful, high wattage one. You can get like one of these super quiet inverter generators that you can hardly hear, that are 1,000 watt or 2,000 watts, and that's not the surge. That's you want to get that as their continual running rating. And your refrigerator doesn't run all the time. It kicks on, runs for a little bit, and kicks off. And if you lose your power, you're on a generator, put a sign on it. Think before you open. Because I've seen a lot of people just stand there, open the fridge. Oh, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? No. Think before you open what you're going to get. Open it, grab it out, close it real quick. Keep that cold in there.
Like my little sister likes to keep going back to the refrigerator thinking that something else is in there. Something just magically appeared 5 minutes later.
Yeah. Now, Northern Tool has what's called a tri-fuel generator, and a few other places have it, but they had the most at one point. Tri-fuel is you can hook it up and run gasoline on it. You flip it over and it runs on propane, or you flip it over and it runs on natural gas. Now, gasoline produces the most power and therefore produces the higher wattage availability, then propane, then natural gas.
Cecilia, the first one that you should get is the one that fits the needs you have.
Yes.
I could say one size, Gil will say another size, Anthony can say another one, and we're not where you're at. And it would take an hour for you to describe everything you have and what your needs are before we could even come up with a possibility. Figure out what you have to have. If you have medical devices that you need to have run, this goes for everybody. If you have a CPAP machine, that's got to run basically all night long. So you got to figure out what your requirement is before you even look at the first generator.
Yeah.
You want to get a generator that's at least slightly above what your maximum need is. That's where you start with.
Yeah.
And you also want to know what else you're going to be using it for. I mean, if you want to just do it for just emergencies, that's one thing. But if you were also considering, camping or working in construction or whatever else, I mean, that's a completely whole other beast. And you might want to throw that extra money. So something for me working in construction will not match something for someone with a just emergency only.
Yeah. Let me see. I pull some up here.
And Cecilia, if you're just worried about medical, then a solar generator would probably be more up your alley, because it is quiet. It's not going to keep you up all night, and you can charge it during the day when you don't need it and then use it at night when you do. And there are decent solar generators out there that'll take care of what you need.
Well, heck, those little energy things with the solar panel that is basically a big battery pack that you have, Gil.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah. I'll show those in a second here. See, there's small ones here. This one that he's carrying here, they had those at Sam's Club for a while. 1,000-watt inverter, $200 at Walmart. But you got to be careful of make sure you're getting a decent, good name brand one. Now the Predators are from Harbor Freight. They seem to do pretty good. There's some Honda ones, and there are I'm trying to remember some of the other names. But if you look at the name, Generac is a good name. So if you look at something and you recognize the name on there, it's probably a good deal. these are some Champion ones. Champion is becoming better and better. They're working hard at improving their game, and
I'd say they're better than the Harbor Freight ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
their warranty is actually pretty good too, for those of you who are curious.
Yeah. And so the you have your regular generators, and here's a video right here. Traditional generator versus inverter generator. Okay, and Champion makes both.
Good night, Kathy.
Night, Kathy.
And that sounds awesome there, Howie.
Later, Kathy.
And so, yeah, you have some a lot of choices now.
CCR.
And they're getting more. There's more and more choices coming out. And if you Google it, like inverter generators, people also ask what it is, the advantages, difference, and everything. Hey, do your research, but figure out what you're doing. And here's the thing too: if you have, hang on, I'm gonna get over here.
Later, CR.
If you have a chest freezer and a refrigerator freezer unit, you'll notice that the chest freezer doesn't run that often. And the refrigerator runs more because you're opening up and because it's upright and all the cold comes out. But you can do it where you plug, run the chest freezer when it shuts off, you unplug it, you plug the refrigerator back in, and you can wait. Like if you're not going into that chest freezer, you can wait 8 hours before you have to plug that chest freezer back in. Well,
also depends on the age too. If you have those older ones with the hardcore linings, then those things can go much longer than the real thin, flimsy ones they make today.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, Chris.
Good night, Ontario. Have a good night.
Yeah, Chris Hollyridge is here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, Chris, by the way, Friday night, Scott at Hidden Valley and I are going to do the tractor thing on Friday night. So, look down in the description down below. I have my email address. Email me, and I can give you that way I can send you the link on Friday to come on the panel ahead of time. Your generators are really cool. Now your solar generators are, got to hit YouTube here on the channel. Give me a second, guys. I'm digging into this here.
Yeah, there's one YouTube channel that I would recommend watching to learn how to build your own system. And if Gil doesn't find it, I'll go looking for him. But he gives perfect walkthroughs on how to build your own system, and he tells you exactly what pieces to buy, and he lays it out in a way that you can buy a couple pieces at a time. Your biggest expense is going to be your inverter for your power inversion and your batteries. Those will be your biggest expenses. Most everything else will be relatively cheap comparatively, but you can build yourself one up.
Yeah. Now, Minuteman Prep here. Am I magnified on that one? No, let me magnify in just a little bit here. All right, Minuteman Prep. This is my friend Benjamin Gilmore. He does on his channel. Come here, let's get going. Work. Let me go here.
Ontario, it is real. There, we said it. It's real.
Okay. Let me go to all his videos and show you what he does. All these inverters that he is testing in solar panels, everything he tests, and he has a chart here of all the ones he's tested and everything, how they compare. He pays for himself. He gets nothing from any of the companies because he wants to do a totally honest, unbiased review of the stuff. And I have to agree with him on what, with him about the Titan. The Titan is a fantastic one, but it's the Cadillac of solar generators. Yeah. And if you look at this picture right here, you have the top piece right here. That's the brains and all the inverter of it. It has and then it has battery packs that stack under it. if I had this setup here with one more battery pack, I could run my house here off grid on that system. With the solar panels I have, I could keep that thing charged and run my house. The only problem I'd have is when it came time to fire up the AC. But it would, it'd power. He talks about these smaller ones, these little ones that are talking. They say they got a 1,000-watt inverter on them, but the battery can only support 800 watts or 500 watts. He explains all about that. He gives you all the information on the solar inverters and stuff. So he goes, and some of his older ones here, he talks and deals with the Kodiak and the. He's pulled them off, some of them off here, but they're still on his business site, which is Power Portable Solar. And in the description, he has a link to his business, and he has the reviews on a bunch more stuff over there as well. So that's if you want to find out some stuff about that. And Dave just threw up another one here. Let's bring this up.
This guy here seems like he pretty well knows exactly what he's doing. I have not seen anything blow up on him. His house is still intact. So, I mean, this is the one guy I would watch, because he goes in several of his videos, he goes right down to the very smallest components you'll need to build a system. And I mean, he even tests some of the bigger name stuff too. So DIY solar with Will.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are some good guys out there, but you gotta be careful. Check around and see who's actually providing good information. So it sounds like we got two of them there for you to go check out. But yeah, if you're just doing small, like for me, I have my Kodiak. It'll power my CPAP for a week without charging it. So, and I got my Kodiak from Ben when he was selling them.
Explosions are just learning curves. Depends.
Actually, that's leaning curves. I'm kidding.
Yeah, just ask Jerry. Jerry's Wood Shop and Outdoors what explosions are. He likes making them.
Oh yeah, he likes to do explosions. Now, I have a feeling that
did your
Imagine Acre Woods is left here and Living the Dream. All those guys that are totally off grid have stepped off already, gone to bed.
Mouse Toes has a nice solar system down at her place too.
Yeah. Now the one that, this is another time we need Reed up here.
Yeah, Reed, he has that weird schedule. He likes to work those like second shift hours, so he's completely working when everybody's still doing stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's Reed has check out Reed's channel, Manifestations of Imagination. He has been helping other people with theirs, solar panel systems upgrades and stuff.
Yeah, he might not hook one or two wires together.
And his systems are engineered from an electrical engineer standpoint, so they're not going to fail.
Yeah, and there's less chance of you shocking yourself and having to go to the hospital to have the hair that was singed on your forehead put back into place.
Yeah. All righty, guys.
Make sure that you can power you and your house next to you all day.
Yeah. So, Christy, I've worked all three shifts. I also worked the sheriff's shift, which was 12 hours, 3 days a week, 12 hours, 3 days a week the next week, and then an 8-hour day to make your full 80 hours for the 2 weeks. I've worked both shifts of that, 6 to 6 in the daytime and 6 to 6 at night.
Hey, Grandma's so happy.
I pulled those 12-hour shifts 24/7 every day of the week for months. I hate those days.
Yeah.
Deployment.
Driving truck, you work those too, 20-hour days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not according to your logbook.
What's that? Oh, I mean that federal document you're not supposed to lie on. You have to keep for 7 years, even if you ain't been driving.
Yep.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All righty, guys. I think we've ridden this horse as far as we have to.
Yeah, its legs are pretty shaky at the moment.
Yeah.
Needs a
But
water.
I think we covered everything good enough for everybody out there to give you guys a good idea where to go, what to do. Think about which type of stove you might want, emergency stove you want to have. You know, I've got a lot of different ones from going camping and stuff. And I almost forgot. If you have an RV or a travel trailer, guess what's out there?
A toilet?
Stove,
Oh,
an oven, a water heater, a furnace.
You hope so until you walk outside and someone stole it.
Or you see it, or you see it flying around in a circle in a tornado.
at that point, you just put your head between your legs and kiss your butt goodbye.
No, then you run back. You crawl underneath the house into the storm cellar.
People have storm cellars?
Yeah, out there in Kansas, Nebraska, North Texas.
Right, Chris.
Must be those places that don't have a high water table.
Chris, take it easy. All right. And anybody have any final things before we call it a night? Nothing on the panel?
Well,
Anything from the side chat?
For tomorrow night, that's it.
Okay. All right. So on Wednesday, Dave is doing what?
For those interested, tomorrow night we'll be discussing the Daniel timeline of the 70 weeks. It's Bible-based. So if you're interested, show up tomorrow night at 9:00 Eastern time. Bible stuff.
All righty. And then Thursday morning, I have the open chat from 10 o'clock to whenever everyone decides they've had enough chat. And it's whatever's on your mind on that one.
Oh,
Then
I got to go find my mind first.
Yeah, Friday night at 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 Eastern is the Friday night special, and it'll be myself, Chris at Holly Ridge Homestead, Scott from Hidden Valley Homestead. Dave will probably be there just killing trolls. And we're trying to also get Hank from Hamiltonville Farms, and we're going to be talking about tractors. Now, before you all go, tractors. Hey, tractors come in all sizes. If you're doing a homestead or you're thinking about having a place to retreat to go to, you may want to listen on. We're going to be talking about small tractors and big tractors, garden tractors, and skip loaders and stuff like that. So we're going to be covering a lot of information and help you figure out what tractor might be best for you. All righty. And then, of course, Saturday, Survival Saturday, is going to be, for your belly, herbs for health. So hopefully I will be able to get Howie up here on Survival Saturday. That's at 5 o'clock Mountain, 7 Eastern for Survival Saturday. And then we will talk about stuff that's good for your belly health-wise in herbs, stuff you grow. All righty. And with that, I am going to call it. It's time. See you all later. Stay safe.